What's up, guys? My name's Anthony, and I hope everybody is hanging in there after what has been an historic day. In this video, I want to talk about a couple things. Firstly, I want to get into some Bitcoin technical analysis. I want to show you a historic trend line that I drew and explain the importance of why it's in question right now and what might happen if it breaks. And then I also want to talk about the reason for the crash. If you haven't been reading much on crypto lately, you might not realize there was a big Ponzi scheme I want to talk about. And I also want to talk about some action that we've seen on BitMEX. But there's really just so much happening in the world with the coronavirus, with this oil war. It's an insane time in all markets. I mean, I'm watching precious metals, cryptocurrency, the stock market. It's all going down. Truthfully, this has been a big day of buying for me. And this is when, I said this to my wife earlier, these are the moments, not necessarily today, but these times in history are when fortunes are made, when people have the guts to buy some of the red. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I telling you to buy right now, but it's definitely something to consider. So without further ado, let's just get into this. Now, here is the Bitcoin US dollar chart. We are looking at the 1 week time frame. So each of these candles is 1 week of price action. And the first thing I want to call your attention to, and the line you saw in my thumbnail, is this green line. Now you can see I have this dated back to August of 2016. And this is dating back to just after the second halving, which was the most recent one we had, which was January 9th of 2016. And at that point, the price of Bitcoin was $657, and we all know what happened since then. So what we have here is a trend line that spans over 3 years, and that's what we might call a historical trend line. So it's not short term, it's not medium term, it's as long term can get. And what I want to point out here is right here. I'll zoom in on this, and if you remember, if you were in crypto back around this time, this was December 2018, and this was that moment where we saw $3,000 Bitcoin, when we thought we would never see it again. And will we see it again? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But what I want to point out is when we came down to this line, we came down 1, 2, 3, 4 times, or on 4 different weeks, because again, these are weekly candles, but every single time we bounced back up, and on none of those times did we breach it quite as low as we just did. So let's just zoom in and just take a quick look at the last couple weeks. And you can see, obviously, if you've been in the last couple weeks, we were sitting really pretty right above $10,000. We had this beautiful start to 2020. Everybody thought we were just going straight to the moon with the Bitcoin halving coming, scheduled for the beginning of May, most likely. Now I believe it's under 90 days or 80 days or something like that. And then we just fell off a cliff. And, for me, and I just assumed it was kind of getting dragged down with the rest of the global economy, which has been really beat up, obviously, as well. But of course, we saw a 56% correction from the top of over 10K to where we sit right now. And at the time of this recording, we are sitting at $4,975, $74. I bought Bitcoin twice today. I bought it once at 49, and I bought it once at 6K because we hadn't seen 6K in so long. I mean, this morning we were here. We hadn't seen this level since all the way back in April of 2019. It had been almost a full year just to see 6K, and then we fell down that fast. So things are moving fast. My advice to you, which is not financial advice, officially, but it's to have cash on the side. So what I'm doing with Bitcoin and what I learned in the last bear market was not to spend all my money too quickly. So what I'm doing is I'm scaling in. My plan is to go long, meaning I'll hold long term, and I'm buying as this thing falls. I still have some more money on the side. Truthfully, I wasn't planning on buying Bitcoin. I was buying some more alts. You guys know I'm bullish on Chainlink. Let me bring back some more of these indicators. There's the volume here, right? The 50-day, the 100-day. You can see we're well below all these lines, even on the weekly chart. But like I was saying before, I was forced to buy Bitcoin. All right, and really what you want to do is train your mind to buy the red and not the green, which is the opposite of what you'll want to do. You'll see something going up normally and you'll want to buy. But for me, I've actually been in this long enough where I get excited when I see the red. And that's why I just wanted to get this video out to you guys today. But there it is. There's the historical trend line. We are below it. If we close this week below this below this trend line, it's going to be really interesting. But, before I just ramble on and on and on, let's talk about a little bit, if you're unsure about the reasons. So I found this today. This just came out on Forbes. And there was a Ponzi scheme. It swept China and Korea over the last few years. So this was something that I guess was building up over time. They saw around $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies stolen from investors. And last Saturday, ahead of the traditional market rout caused by OPEC, which is the oil war, plus token scammers moved a little over $100 million worth of Bitcoin to so-called mixers to disguise them. And then inevitably, they sold off the Bitcoin, causing prices to fall as supplies flooded the market. Whoever these plus token people are, the people behind this, they still have a lot of Bitcoin. Most likely. They had $2 billion worth. So what that means is they have a lot of buying power and they probably have power to crash this market even harder. But what happened here is something else I found today on CoinDesk is they were calling this a long squeeze. So basically a lot of people had longs in. So a sell liquidation on BitMEX occurs when the market moves adversely against a long position. So a lot of people were holding long and what they had set were stop losses. And if you don't invest much or if you're new to the space, basically a stop loss is a price you set into an exchange, letting the exchange know at what price you're willing to sell or you want to get out of a trade to limit your losses. And so what happened is these whales did a lot of selling and then all this leverage forced this long squeeze and it forced all these stop limits to trigger, causing this long liquidation. And it happened this morning and then it happened, I couldn't believe it happened at night. For me, I'm in New York, so we're Eastern Standard Time, and we just watched that drop below 5K as we speak. So we will see what happens to Bitcoin from here. Like I said, my non-financial advice is to have some cash on the side ready. I know that's what I'm doing. I don't know if we're going to see 3K again, but again, these moments are when fortunes can potentially be made. Everything I read talks about that. Buy when there's a blood, and most importantly, buy when there's a true bear market and you try and buy the bottom. We always talk about buying the bottom on this channel. I mention it in almost all my TA videos. Good luck to you all. Try not to let your emotions get the best of you or be rattled by this downturn if you're new in cryptocurrency or even in the stock market. Stock market, of course, has a history of going up and up and up. 6, 12, 18 months from now, it'll probably be right back around 25, 30,000. We talk about the Dow Jones. And cryptocurrency should not have a hard time getting back to 200, 250 billion, and 300 billion over the course of the next couple months. So my gut tells me these are good prices. But again, I feel like I have to keep saying this video. I'm not a financial advisor. So with that being said, enjoy the ride. And I'll see you guys in the next video.